Hey everybody, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and today I'm doing a preview of the latest game from Gabe Barrett Solo Game series, Astra Imperium. And as always, I don't accept any money from publishers to cover their games, but I do have to mention a disclaimer. Gabe recently revealed that one of Peter and Mai's previous designs, Salvation Road, that originally came out from Van Ryder, is going to get a new life in this same solo series. So I'm still going to cover the game honestly, but want y'all to always have transparency for relationships with publishers and that kind of stuff. And if you like the content on the One Stop Co-op Shop, consider supporting us through Patreon. You get early access to our videos and exclusive videos every month you can't see anywhere else. You can also listen to our weekly podcast for reviews and design discussions, or join the conversation and say hi on our Discord. So as far as I understand, Astra Imperium was originally a game called Rome Alone, so very different theme. They went from ancient Rome to sci-fi. I think there was actually a version before Rome Alone that had another name too. But there's a very quick playing card game where you are going through 3 rounds, each round consisting of going through this 21 card action deck fully. And you're resolving actions and gaining resources and trying to earn as many victory points as you can while trying to stop the invaders from bombing you off of Earth and out of existence. The game does have 2 different campaign modes you can play through with branching scenarios. I'm not going to use those in the play today, although I do think the game is better with them because all of the flavor text and stuff is still, as far as I can tell, totally based on Rome. Like they changed the graphic design, but haven't actually changed the text yet. So I thought that'd be a little wonky. So I'll just show you the basic game here, but I will, when I get to my impressions at the end of the video, talk about that campaign mode. But yeah, how the game works is, I'll just show you before I start the play fully. You draw the top 3 cards of the deck, and you choose one to resolve. And you can either resolve its top effect, which is going to gain you some of the resources. There are 3 types. What is it, like crystals, gears, production stuff, and military power. Or you can resolve the bottom effect, which is generally going to cost you resources. And those bottom effects can do a few things. They can conquer more areas on the board. When you do that, you get to put one of your cubes out. You get an immediate resource of one of the 2 types. And these places will also earn you victory points at the end of the game. The little laurels. I feel like the laurel icon should maybe change. Does laurel make sense in a sci-fi setting? Maybe it does. Another type of card you can do is building one of these wonders. So the first time you do it, you don't get anything. You just put a cube there. But the second time you do it, and there are 2 cards for each wonder in the deck. So you could build a wonder in a single go-through of the deck, or you could build one in one round and the other one in another. Then you get the bonuses. So most of them give you victory points, but RSS Mars 1 also prevents the attacks from affecting you for the rest of the game, which is pretty crazy. That's usually the first one I go for. And Nova Stage lets you freely mix and match the gear resource and the military resource once you've built it. But besides that, they're just victory points. And then there are also some buildings. Let me find an example of one. Here you go. The Hollow Muse, they have this little symbol here, and they become actual buildings that you construct. They go over here. 2 of them will give you 2 victory points at the end of the game, like this one, and the other 3 will each boost your resource production of one of the 3 resource types. And if you don't have RSS Mars 1 built when you get to the end of each round, then you need to either trash the number of colonies located on the board for you, so 1 in Act 1, 1 in Act 2, and 2 in Act 3, or you need to pay the indicated number of military resources, 2, then 3, then 5. And note that if you can't pay the military resources, you have to take off the cube, and if this central cube gets taken away, you'll lose the game immediately. But besides that, if you survive through all 3 rounds, you count your number of victory points. They have a little chart you compare it to. I think like 16 is the highest. I've not gotten there yet. I've gotten 14 or 13. That's usually been my highest. And that's how the one-off play works. For the campaign mode, you have a target victory point count plus special rules sometimes. And based on whether you win or lose, you might immediately end the campaign. But more often, you will go to a branching different scenario. See, for like tier 2, then for tier 3. And the game will change based on that if you're hitting your victory point targets or not. All right, enough talk. Let's jump in to Astra Imperium. It is, again, pretty quick. So let's see our options. There's a bummer. Like I said, usually my strategy is to build RSS Mars 1 as quickly as possible because not having to pay these invasion costs is so insanely powerful. But I got the first RSS Mars 1 card too early, and I don't have the 3 gears to pay for it. You need 3 gears for one of them, and I think 2 crystals and 1 military for the other. So I'm not going to finish it. I'm going to have to suffer through 1 attack. Well, so it goes. So let's look at our options then. I can't afford the Hollow Muse. You start with 1 of each victory point. I can't afford the training facility. This is one that would give me increased military production for the rest of the game, which is pretty dang good. So I'm just looking at resources here. I do know I need a crystal in case the other RSS Mars 1 research thing comes up. So let's do the Hollow Muse action to gain 1 of each resource. Puts me in a pretty safe place. Okay, now I've got Conquest. This is an action you can take. I mean, I could get 2 crystals, but what I do is I pay military equal to the number of bases I currently have, which is 1, and then I get to put down a new base, and as I said, get the resource indicated, a crystal or a gear. Could also start building the Quantum Barter deck. That one gets me victory points equal to the resource I have the least of at the end of the game. So if I can get somehow like 9 of each, it's worth 9 victory points, the most of anything in the game. Oh, shoot. Or RSS Mars. Wow. This came up quickly, didn't they? Well, good thing I got the blue. See, I am going to start building this because I want to have it ASAP. So 1 military, 2 crystal, and I mark that I've built 1 stage of that. But again, it's not helping me at all. I'm not going to get another card in time to stop the invasion. So I am going to lose a cube or pay 2 military at the end of this round. All right, so I got another conquest. So here's the question. What's better for me? So if I use a conquest as my entire turn, I can spend 1 military to get a location, which will get me a resource back, so it's kind of 1 for 1. And then I'll lose that at the end of the act. Or I could just get 2 military, but not use... Well, I guess I'll be using a card to get that resource. So yeah, you know what? I am going to do the conquest because there's only 2 of them, and this is my last chance to do it. So I'll spend my last military. I guess I'll go and get a crystal since I'm low on those. And I'll plan when the invasion happens to let that colony go. I don't think I'm going to get the highest score here. Sometimes the luck of the draw of where cards come out is pretty important. All right, so I've got another building, a solar harvester. It'll give me 1 of each, and that would get me 2 more victory points. Or the Orbit Urbis and Data Vault. Data Vault's a straight 4-point victory point. This one is 1 victory point for each building you've built. Now, the important thing, by the way, is that buildings do come out of the deck. Now, it doesn't matter that much for the first 2 you build, because then you are still going to draw the same number of times. You basically have 7 turns, because it's 21 cards, drawing 3 at a time. So if you built 2 buildings, and there's only 19 cards left in the deck, you still get a 7th turn. It's just going to be like only 2 or 1 cards. But if you build 3 buildings prior to Act 3, then you can actually lose an entire turn because you've culled the deck down too much. But yeah, I'm going to get 1 of each from Solar Harvester. It's just a bit more economical. But I do want to build some buildings that increase my resource generation, if possible. We didn't get any here, so I can start building the Orbital Fluxway, Orbit Urbis, or Data Vault. The Fluxway I didn't say yet, but it gives you an extra victory point for every base you have. And I think that's all of them. Yeah. With that, I've talked through all of the places. But yeah, I'm not going to build any of these. Well, actually, I guess I do have the resources, but it seems a little silly to me. Should I get a bunch of military? Oh, that's right. What do I need to build the second stage of RSS Mars? Oh, I guess it would be 2 crystals and 1 military again, or 3 gears. So sure. Let's try to get everything like around 3 so I can build some nice buildings. All right, mining colony. Dang it. Dang it. I wish I had gotten another crystal. Because look, I could have spent 3 crystals to build this, but then it would have given me 2 more crystals every time I harvested crystals, which is huge. But I missed my dang chance. So I will get 3 crystals, though, to fix that mistake next time. You can see also building the buildings takes away the best resource generation because they have 3 to give you instead of 2. So like it's not quite as obvious to build them, but so it goes. All right, and then finally, I can do Call for Tribute. There's, I think, 2 of these as well, and they give you resources based on the number of bases you have, which, isn't really enough yet to be anything worthwhile. Or I could build the Quantum Barter deck, which is a decent one. Like, if I can get some buildings, that would potentially be good. But then I got to keep my resources up. I mean, for now, I think I'm just going to keep on building up stuff. And let's go for the one that gives me some gear, since that's lower. So I'll get 1 and 1 from Nova Stage. Okay, then I get bombed. I can lose a base, or I can lose 2 military. Maybe I'll lose 2 military, because if I get a building that lets me get military more quickly, then that might be better. And then I mark off that Act 1 has happened. Now, we are going to try to build RSS Mars 1 before Act 2, so we won't have to lose all this other stuff. All right, so here we go. Like I said, the game is very quick. All right, so we got a building that would give us 2 victory points. I don't really want to build that yet. In fact, I don't really want to build any of these yet, but let's go ahead and use Hollow Muses resource generation, because again, it's just better than the other ones in a strict sense. Oh, there's RSS Mars, Is this the RSS Mars that I want to build? Sure. So 2 crystals, 1 military. So now I am no longer going to be affected by the attacks, and I got 2 victory points, which is my first 2. Like, you don't have any... Well, never mind. I got 2 from location, so I've got 4 victory points so far. Research lab. Yeah, I mean, I want to get these as quickly as I can. So this one will increase my gear capacity or resource production. Anytime I would gain gears, I gain 2 more. So that's going to cost me 2 and 1. All right. And then... Okay, that's another one that gives me those. So now let's go ahead and do the solar. I mean, well, should I build more stuff? Now, don't forget, you only get 1 more go through of the deck. So, like, really, things happen pretty quickly. Okay, so that would get me 3 of those with my research lab and 1 of each of the other ones. Okay, now I've got mining colony, although I'd kind of rather get the one that gives me military faster. Call for tribute would get me 2 crystals. And Nova Stage would max out that. I'm going to get the crystals from the mining colony, because again, I kind of want to build the one that gets me military faster, so I can do more conquests, maybe. And there we go. I'm going to do a conquest. This will take both my... Oh, actually, wait, hold on. I feel like the training facility does require an attack, so if I spend all my military, I won't be able to get it, maybe. Yes, so instead, let's build the first phase of the quantum barter deck, so that's 2 and 1. That's the one that could get me a bunch of victory points if I have a lot of resources at the end. Yeah, I was right. Training facility did need... I mean, I'm not going to do any conquest then. So I'll do that for the training facility and build that. So those are the 2 buildings. I'm probably not going to build any more, except maybe the ones that give me 2 victory points. We shall see. No attack for Act 2. All right, here we go. Final act. Okay, so I want to do the quantum barter deck. I don't have to do it now. And this one costs more crystals, which I don't produce as well. Nova Stage is not really one I want. Orbit Urbis will only give me 2 victory points. Well, crud. All right, maybe I do build the quantum barter deck now and just try to get more crystals later. So that one's completed, but at the moment it's worth a single victory point for me. Maybe this was a dumb idea, Mike. Okay, I got RSS Mars I don't need. Hollow Muse I can't afford, even though it would have been a straight 2 victory points. And the other quantum barter deck I certainly don't need. So let's do Hollow Muse. Give me 1, 3, and 3, since it's 1 of each, and I have my little bonuses. But yeah, I'm really worried about my crystal production to make the quantum barter deck not suck. Okay, I've got, oh man, both conquests at the same time? Give me a break. Or Orbit Urbis, which is based on buildings. Now, okay, I'll do a conquest. So it's going to cost me 2, since I have 2, and I'll definitely go on a crystal to bump that up. Yeah, I want to get those resources up if possible. Okay, Solar Harvester, I could afford, but it would cost me, I would gain 2 victory points, but it would probably be costing me 2 victory points from my quantum barter deck getting worse. I could just get 3 crystals from the mining colony and really try to lean into that barter deck. Or the Data Vault, which I could probably build part 2 of. That's 4 victory points, but again, how many potential victory points is it going to cost me from the barter deck? I'm just going to go hard on the resources. So I'm going to gain 3 from mining colony because that's the best pure crystal generation I can get here. Okay, and then I can do call for tribute, which would get me 3 crystals or 3 gears. I think I already missed the other Nova Stage. So yeah, I guess the 3 crystals is the best. And then we'll see if I can get... I've got 2 more turns. See, that's the last card will be a forced one. Okay, nice. I'm just really trying to get the max 9 victory points here as close to it as I can. So to that end, since I don't know what that last card is, let's do this one that gives me 2 military plus 3 more. That's 7 victory points from Quantum, whatchamacallit. And then, yeah, it's not going to help me at all, unfortunately. I'll just gain 1 more of those. All right, so we check our victory points since we automatically stop the Act 3 attack. So Quantum Barter Deck gets me 7. RSS Mars gets me to 9, and my 3 conquered places get me to 12. That's a slightly lower score than I would like. Again, like, I think 16 is really like super win territory, and 10, like below 10, is complete failure. So 12 is certainly middling, but I did have some luck I didn't like there. I might have just made some bad choices. There you go. That is Astra Imperium. And what do I think of this one? I think it's okay. Definitely not anywhere close to my favorite in the Gabe Barrett releases. I do find it a bit repetitive. Like, I mean, the big one is I do wish that RSS Mars worked differently or that these penalties were lessened, because it seems like a really dumb choice not to build RSS Mars as soon as you possibly can, because there's just such a swing of resource and like actions if you don't get it built, which I think is a little bit dumb, because if anything is a forced choice in a game like this to do well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is just groupthink. Well, Mike think, because I'm the only one playing it. And maybe you don't need to build that all the time. But yes, I find that kind of a silly choice. I wish that they would rebalance it. I know this is exactly how it was in Rome alone, so maybe they're just keeping the game the same. But yeah, I wish that these were not as bad. And I feel like almost supported in that assessment, because one of the two campaigns, Fall of the Empire, the main mechanic they have for most of the scenarios is that the RSS Mars 1 colony, they have these effects correct. It's only the flavor text that is still Rome. I thought that everything was still Rome. But yeah, so they literally in the scenarios weaken the RSS Mars 1 colony. Like, for example, in the first scenario, you get attacked twice instead of once, and the Mars colony only cancels one of them. But here's the thing, even then, you still want to build the Mars colony as quickly as possible, maybe even more so, because you certainly can't pay the cost twice. You can't lose 4 cubes worth of conquest or pay 10 military, which you can't even afford. But then this other scenario completely takes out the ability to build the Mars 1 card. It gets you something else. So it seems like they know that the Mars 1 thing is kind of dumb, but I don't know. Anyway, that's a minor complaint. It doesn't really change the overall play of the game. I think drawing 3 cards, picking one is a nice, quick flow thing. The game plays super smoothly, very quickly. Even if you do a campaign, which is going to be up to 4 games in a row, if you don't die, even that is still a pretty quick time. Like once you know the game, that's maybe 40 minutes, 30 minutes. And there are different ways to go. You can try to get more of these. You can try to focus on certain point scoring things. And I do think the campaign changes that up in a nice way by making certain things more valuable or less valuable, starting you with buildings, starting you with more things on the map. I definitely think once you know the game, the campaign mode is the way to go, because it changes up the gameplay and the strategy a bit for what is otherwise a pretty straightforward and I think sometimes repetitive game experience. So yeah, Astra Imperium, definitely not my favorite, but it's a simple, straightforward game. I think solo gamers who just want something kind of relaxing and fun with some variety in that campaign will enjoy this one. I do wish they would mess with the balance a bit more instead of just publishing the game as it originally is, but that's based on limited experience with the game. I might be totally missing some strategies and just playing stupidly. Thanks for watching, everybody, and a special thank you to our biggest Patreon supporters, J. William F., Steve Wren, KCW, Andrew R., and Chris C. We'll see you at the next stop.